Kenyan learner Abel Mutai was...
Just a second. Okay. So, hi everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to our lodge meeting of Prayas Theosophical Lodge. So today we are having a session on the 4 qualifications of the book At the Feet of the Master by Brother J. Krishnamurti. And today we have 4 speakers for 4 qualifications. So each of the speaker will be speaking for 10 minutes each. So let us begin the session, and first of all, sit in meditation for a time. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Come back, everyone, and thank you for joining. So, the book At the Feet of the Master is one of the trilogy, the other 2 being The Voice of Silence and Light on the Path. These books are considered the mystical gems of theosophical literature. It consists of teaching given by his master to the young disciple J. Krishnamurti in the year 1909. When he was a boy of 13, we have often heard about the qualifications for the path, but we shall continue to hear of them until we have succeeded in putting into practice everything that is written in the book. There is a real inner world which surpasses in importance all this outer world. All the things that happen to us from the outside are the result of our karma. The right attitude is always to try to learn the lesson that comes to us. So let us know the qualifications on the path and see how far we can apply them. So we have today 4 speakers with us, 4 young speakers: Vansh, Pranshi, Smriti Sagar, and Shruti. So starting on, we have Vansh. Vansh is a meticulous child studying in class 10th. He is a resident of Ghaziabad and a young member of Prayas Theosophical Lodge. He has also participated in Bhavali camp and events at Delhi Federation and UP Federation. He is sincere and he is always ready to help others. He actively participated in TOS work in community services. He has delivered short talks in Young Indian Theosophist group. And today he'll be presenting the first qualification on the path, that is discrimination. So I'll quickly share, just a second. Yes. So I invite Brother Vansh for the talk, and let's begin.
Thank you, Sister Kritika, for such a nice introduction. Now let's start. Hi everyone. So today I will be speaking on discrimination. Yes, discrimination. Now this word hits you with a lot of heavy words. Fat, slim, ugly, beautiful, rich, poor, fair, dark, tall, short, lucky, unlucky, Chinese, Japanese, Pakistani, European, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, Buddhist, Jain, and yes, of course, all those which you were thinking of. So today, let's just have a detox session and you know what everybody says that discrimination is bad. Well, again, discrimination is not, but it is not actually. It is that we don't use the word correctly and know its actual meaning. Some says that we should not discriminate, but brother J. Krishnamurti says that if you desire to enter the path, then discrimination is a must. Discriminate between the right and the wrong, the important and the unimportant, the useful and the useless, the truth and the false, the selfish and the unselfish. Not only the useful from the useless, but the more useful from the less useful. You should be wise, but not that men may think you wise. Not even that you may have the happiness of being wise, but because only the wise man can be wisely helpful. You must distinguish between truth and falsehood. You must learn to be true all through in thought and word and deed. When we were little kids, when we were little children, we were so fascinated and engrossed playing with our toys, and it seemed the whole world to us. But when we grew a little older, the damn toys, which used to be our world, seemed to be less important, and we moved on to another set of activities. Till again, we thought those are not important. The whole life is like that things are transitory, which seems true to us today turned out to be false, and so on. That means the very quality of discrimination is actually a guide to us and to understand, evaluate, and to choose. Discrimination brings us closer to knowledge, and that is why, with knowledge, the ignorant gets the light and the knowledgeable gets wiser. When the man gets the knowledge, he cannot help for working more for the real and the unreal. When there is work that must be done, the physical body wants to rest, to go out working, to eat and drink, and the man who does not know says to himself, I want to do these things and I must do them. But the man who knows says, this that wants is not I, and it must wait a while. Often, when there is an opportunity to help someone, the body feels how much trouble it will be for me. Let someone else do it. But the man replies to his body, you shall not hinder me in doing good work. The body is your animal, the horse upon which you ride. Therefore, you must treat it well and take good care of it. You must not overwork it. You must feed it properly on pure food and drink only. And keep it strictly clean always, even from the minute speck of dirt. From without a perfectly clean and healthy body, you cannot do the arduous work of preparation. You cannot bear it ceaseless strain. But it must always be you who controls the body, not it that controls you. You must discriminate between the important and the unimportant. Try to see what is worth doing and remember that you must not judge the size of the things. You must not hold a thought just because many other people hold it, nor because it has been believed for centuries, nor because it is written in some book which men think scared. You must think of the matter for yourself and judge for yourself whether it is reasonable. Remember that though the 1,000 men agree upon a subject, if they know nothing about that subject, their opinion is of no value. He who would walk upon the path must learn to think for himself, for superstitious is one of the greatest evil in the world. One of the fetters from which you must utterly free yourself. Your thoughts about the other must be true. You must not think of them what you don't know. Do not suppose that they are always thinking of you. If a man does something which you think will harm you, or says something which you think applies to you, do not think at once. He meant to injure me. Most probably he never thought of you at all. For each soul has its own troubles, and its thoughts turn chiefly around it. If a man speak angrily to you, do not think, he hates me, he wishes to wound me. Probably someone or something else has made him angry, and because he happens to meet you, he turns his anger upon you. He is acting foolishly. For all anger is foolish, but you must not therefore think untruly of him. You must not be true in speech, too accurate, and without exaggeration. Never attribute motivates to another. Only his master knows his thoughts, and he may be acting from reasons which have never entered your mind. If you hear a story against anyone, do not repeat it. It may not be true, and even if it is kinder to say nothing. Think well before speaking, lest you should fall into inaccuracy. Be true in actions, never pretend to be other than you are, for all pretense is a hindrance to the pure light of truth, which should shine through you as sunlight shines through clear glass. You must discriminate between the selfish and the unselfish, for selfishness has many forms, and when you think you have finally killed it in one of them, it arises in another as strongly as ever. But by degrees, you will become so full of thoughts for the help of others that there will be no room, no time for any thought about yourself. You must discriminate in yet another way. Learn to distinguish the God in everyone and everything, no matter how evil he or it may appear on the surface. You can help your brother through that which you have in common with him, and that is the divine life. Learn how to arouse that in him. Learn how to appeal to that in him. So shall you save your brother from wrong. There are two options with us. One is easy to choose, and one is right to choose. It's up to us. What do we choose? I will share a story. Remember this canyon runner, Abel Mutti, who was just a few feet from the finish line, but became confused with the signage and stopped, thinking he had completed the race. A Spanish runner, Ivan Fernandez, was right behind him, and realizing what was happening, started shouting at the canyon to continue running. But I did not know Spanish and did not understand, realizing what was taking place. Fernandez pushed Mutai to victory. A journalist asked Ivan, "Why did you do that?" Ivan replied, "My dream is that someday we can have a kind of community life where we push and help each other to win." The journalist insisted, "But why did you let the Kenyan win?" Ivan replied, "I didn't let him win. He was going to win. The race was his." The journalist insisted and again asked, "But you could have won." Ivan looked at him and replied, "But what would be the merit of my victory? What would be the honor in that medal? What would my mother think of that?" Choosing the right over wrong is difficult, and it's about values which we gain, which helps us decide. However, how difficult is used to complete our homework on time because we choose to start it late when we were in primary classes, but then one day we choose to start doing it early, and then it becomes so easy. It takes just a moment to change our life, and in that moment, we have to choose the right things, which is obviously the difficult part. but then to earn something, you have to pay something. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Brother Vansh. It's time. If you would, I like to actually see the video, the story he was sharing. So if somebody can reply, so I can play the video if somebody wants to see that.
Maybe we can see at the end. Let all the talks.
Okay,
complete.
Sure. Okay, so moving on, I welcome Sister Pranshi.
Let me say some words, madam.
Oh, definitely.
So here, I will not be continue this one at the end because at sharp 3:45 I will leave. So I shall tell some things here about the reading of this boy, my brother. So here, what is better? Divine life. What is more important? Divine life. What is right? Divine life. What is real? Divine life. I am God, so I am divine life. Everyone is God, so everyone is divine life. So I am to learn how to arouse the divine life in everyone, in my brother. Learn how to learn to that, to him or her. So I shall save my brothers from wrong. This is the abridged, short I found out from this chapter. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, brother. So I welcome Sister Pranshi for the next qualification. So Pranshi is in class 10 and a young member of Prayas Theosophical Lodge. She keeps interest in art, music, and dance. She has participated in theosophical meetings and events in Delhi Federation, UP Federation, Indian section, and international headquarters. She has delivered short talk in Young Indian Theosophist group. She runs a website on mythological writing and illustration known as Mythogyan. She will present the second qualification, that is desirelessness. So over to you, Sister Pranshi.
Thank you, Sister Kritika, for the introduction, and thank you, Brother Vansh, for explaining the first qualification so nicely. We now come to the second qualification, desirelessness, which in the Sanskrit is vairagya. Now, what is desire? Desire comes from a want to experience the sensation again, be it a food, smell, visual experience, a past experience of a place, thing, etc. The individual who does not understand the nature of desire or is not determined to control it gets constantly caught in these attractions and repulsions, and these are the bonds which bind him to the lower worlds. An individual who does not allow his mind to establish any connections with the objects of desire remains free. For example, someone who has any kind of addiction like drug, alcohol, or even gadgets, if he keeps the company of those who are addicted to similar stuff, will find it much more difficult to give up his habit and would do well to place himself in a pure and sober atmosphere in the beginning. But he has not really conquered his desire until he has moved unaffected in the company of similar people amidst all the attractions. Essential nature of the desire is drawing of a person towards objects which give him pleasure and repelling him from those which give pain. So there is a presence of power. This power is also the same essence of willpower. In case of desire, the power of the self is drawn out by external objects, while in case of will, it goes out independently of any external stimulus. If we observe our daily routine, we would see that we are very quickly falling in the trap of desire. With every new product coming in the market, with every trend that happens around, without even thinking of a cross-check how useful it is or is it worth pursuing. The moment we take a pause to evaluate its usefulness, we ourselves will figure out to go for it or not. That very thin line of using our common sense or wisdom, whatever you call it, will save us, and that is why using our willpower over our desire has to be exercised. Desire is the cause of greed and anger. If desire is fulfilled, we want more and more, hence greed arises. If desire is not fulfilled, then anger takes place. Desire gives us happiness or pain based on the outcome. So, we are dependent. But willpower gives us independence. Desire gives us effects and willpower gives us a purpose. We must guard too against certain small desires which are common in daily life. Never wish to shine or to appear clever. Have no desire to speak. It is well to speak little, better still to say nothing, unless we are quite sure that what we wish to say is true, kind, and helpful. Before speaking, think carefully whether what we are going to say has those three qualities. Much common talk is unnecessary and foolish. When it is a gossip, it is wicked. One statement of the qualifications gives them thus: to know, to dare, to will, and to be silent. And the last of the four is the hardest of them all. Another common desire which we must sternly repress is the wish to meddle in other men's business. What another man does or says or believes is no affair of ours, and we must learn to let him absolutely alone. He has full right to free thought and speech and action, so long as he does not interfere with anyone else. We ourselves claim the freedom to do what we think proper. We must allow the same freedom to him, and when he exercises it, we have no right to talk about him. If we think he is doing wrong, and we can contrive an opportunity of privately and very politely telling him why we think so. On no account must we go and gossip to some third person about the matter, for that is an extremely wicked action. If we see a case of cruelty to a child or an animal, it is our duty to interfere. If we see anyone breaking the law of the country, we should inform the authorities. If we are placed in charge of another person in order to teach him, it may become our duty gently to tell him of his faults. Except in such cases, we should mind our own business and learn the virtue of silence. So long as a desire which is not gratified makes us unhappy, so long are we identifying ourselves with our desires. Many people like to think that they have conquered the desire nature, when their whole life, their every act shows that it is not so. Desire is something that our bodies want to have. Annie Besant says, the first step that should be taken is to dwell on the idea, I am not my desires. People are advised to meditate every day, for one cannot meditate properly until his desires are quiescent. If we meditate regularly and faithfully, we will little by little realize a self behind our desires. And as we go on meditating and also during the day practice the attitude required, we begin to realize that self all the time. Then we will no longer identify ourselves with our desires and constantly feel I want, I wish, I desire, but will think it is not I, it is the lower self. This is the first great lesson about the second qualification. The Gita says, the wise man is content with whatsoever comes, which means that he will cheerfully make use of what is available and not waste his time and energy in craving for something different. I would like to share a personal experience which triggered a similar thought. During our last trip to Banaras, on our way back, we stayed a night at Lucknow. The hotel we stayed in had a great ambience and staff were very sophisticated. Next day morning, when we came down to the dining hall for breakfast, we saw each table had a folded cart with an image of a glass half filled with water. While we were finding it amusing, the waiter came to us to serve. He poured the water into the glasses half filled. So what we figured out is what is in this picture. and this is self-explanatory. This is how most of us lead life. When all desires for self are gone, there may still be a desire to see the result of our work. If we help anybody, we want to see how much we have helped him. Perhaps even we want him to see it too and to be grateful. But this is still desire and also want of trust. When we pour out our strength to help, there must be a result, whether we can see it or not. This is what the Bhagavad Gita calls not working for fruit. The result is the fruit. If we are really working, we have no time to notice results, no time to stop and look at a piece of work which is finished. As soon as one thing is done, there is something else at hand to be done. We are wasting time if we are looking at the results. If we are thinking of what you have already done, how are you to carry on the next piece of work? And when it comes to personal help, which is the pleasantest of all to give, because there is a personal love at the back of it, why to look back to see if the person whom we have helped appreciates what we have done? So, we must do right for the sake of the right, not in the hope of reward. We must work for the sake of the work, not in the hope of seeing the result. We must give ourselves to the service of the world because we love it and cannot help giving ourselves to it. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Sister Pranchi. It was very nicely presented and explained. So we'll quickly move forward, and I would like to invite our next speaker, who is Brother Smriti Sagar. So he's a software engineer at Noida. He is a member of Prayas Theosophical Lodge. He has participated in youth camp at Bhavali and meeting in Delhi Federation. He has coordinated meetings of the lodge and delivered several talks. He keeps interest in painting and reading books. Today, he will be presenting the third qualification, that is good conduct. So over to you, Brother Smriti.
Thank you, Sister Kirtika, and my previous speaker. Good afternoon, all. So I am going to present the third qualification on that path, that is good conduct. The 6 points of conduct which are specially required are given by the Master is: first, self-control as to the mind. Second is self-control in action. Third is tolerance. Fourth is cheerfulness. Fifth is one-pointedness. And sixth is confidence. The qualification of desirelessness shows that the astral body must be controlled. This shows the same thing as to the mental body. It means control of temper, so that we may feel no longer or impatience. Of the mind itself. So they may be a little irritable as possible. This last is difficult because when we try to prepare ourselves for the path, we cannot help making our body more sensitive, so that its nerves are easily disturbed by a sound or a shock and feel any pressure acutely, but we must do our best. The world is in a well of excitement, despair, anxiety, and unless one has sufficient power to steady oneself against the whirling forces, one hardly knows whether these are from within or from without. That is why we are advised to meditate, to quiet and calm the mental and the astral bodies. The calm mind means also courage, so that we may face without fear the trials and difficulties of the path. It means also steadiness, so that we may make light of the troubles which come into everyone's lives and avoid the incessant worry over the little things in which many people spend most of their time. They are the result of past actions, and when they come, we must bear them cheerfully, remembering that all evil is transitory and that our duty is to remain always joyous and sad. They belong to our previous lives, not to this. We cannot alter them. So it is useless to trouble about them. We should rather think of what we are doing now, which will make the events of our next life. Practical application. We should think of someone in trouble and send loving thoughts to that person. Plan our day and follow our schedule. Engage ourselves fully to a task at hand. Raise your thoughts to highest we can think of. We may think about a saint or a master or a virtue and make this thought a habit. Self-control in action. If our thought is what it should be, we will have little trouble with our action. There must be no laziness, but constant activity in good work. But it must be our own duty that we do, not another man's, unless with his permission and by way of helping him. We should leave every man to do his own work in his own way, but always be ready to offer help where it is needed, but never interfere. Even if we engage in higher work, we must not neglect our ordinary duties every day through which we will progress in the path. Until the ordinary duties of life are done, we are not free for another service. Practical application. We must do little things extraordinarily well and give our best effort in the little things. It is not so much what is being done, but more of how and the spirit with which it's being done. Third is tolerance. When we are children, we spoke as a child. We understood as a child. We thought as a child. But when we grow up and we put away childish things, yet he who has forgotten his childhood and lost sympathy with the children is not the man who can teach them or help them. So we should look kindly, gently, tolerantly upon all, but all alike, Buddhist or Hindu, Jain or Jew, Christian or Muslim. It's practical application. Be adaptable to the changing of times. This means that we should be well informed about things happening around us and be able to adapt to the situation, and that we can recognize the signs of the times. We must not be quick to judge other beliefs, other experience, other religions, other persons. Fourth is cheerfulness. We must bear our karma cheerfully, whatever it may be. Taking it is an honor that suffering comes to us, because it shows that the lords of karma thinks us worth helping. However hard it is, we must be thankful that it is no ours. In order to make the best out of it, we must bear it cheerfully, gladly. 1 point at least. This means being focused on what we have set out for ourselves to do. This also means that once we have decided to set our feet on path, nothing should have us turn away from it. Confidence. We must trust our master. We must trust ourselves. If we sin the master, we will trust him to the uttermost through many lives and deaths, unless there is a perfect trust. There cannot be perfect flow of love and power. Practical. We should trust in our abilities, skills. For example, when you are assigned a task, trust that our skill can be completed. Trust our decision. Trust in goodness of other people. We should trust that in the end, everything will lead to our perfection. At the feast of masters serve as a guide to those who are willing to take the path. As a students, we stand at the feet of master to gain wisdom, will, and cultivate love not for ourselves, but to be used as channels of service. When the student is ready, the master appears, not by goodness alone, not by knowledge alone, not even a combination of these two, but a spiritual tone, an element of wisdom or a true understanding of the purpose of life, and an acceptance of elder brethren as guides and teachers. So with this, I end my presentation. Thank you all.
Wow, brilliant. You have presented it so nicely and explained it so, brilliant. I don't have words. Very good. So we would quickly move on and invite our fourth and the last speaker for the day. So I welcome Sister Shruti. Sister Shruti Goyal is a member of Prayas Theosophical Lodge and is currently pursuing B.Tech in Computer Science from Banasthali Vidyapeeth, Rajasthan. She is a multi-talented girl with excellent skills in dance as well as craft. She has participated in youth camp at Bhavali and coordinated camps and events for children. She has delivered short talk in Young India Theosophist group as well as in other lodge meetings. So today she'll be presenting the fourth qualification, that is love. So over to you, Sister Shruti. Okay, wait, I will first of all present.
Thank you so much, Sister Kritika.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you. Love is the most important out of all the four qualities. Love of frame is as beautiful to know as to hear. For some, it may be union with God. For some of us, it might be attachment with a near and dear one. It can be seeing ourselves with the perspective of someone else. It can be dancing in rain. It can be our favorite song. It can be our evening tea. It can be someone's smile. It can be anything. But to say that love means this specifically can be wrong. But one thing for sure is love means unselfishness. To love, there are two things. First, that you shall be careful to do not hurt to any living thing. And second, that you shall always be watching for an opportunity to help. First, to not hurt anyone. 3 sins there are which work more harm than all else in the world: gossip, cruelty, and superstition. Because these are sins against love. See what gossip does. It begins with evil thought, and that in itself is a crime. For in everyone and in everything there is good. In everyone and everything there is evil. Either of these we can strengthen by thinking of it, and in this way we can help or hinder evolution. We can do the will of the Logos, or we can resist him. If you think of the evil in another, you are doing at the same time 3 wicked things. First, you are filling your neighborhood with evil thought instead of with good thought, and so you are adding to the sorrow of the world. Second, if there is in that man the evil which you think, you are strengthening it and feeding it, and so you are making your brother worse instead of better. But generally there is no evil, and you have only fancied it, and then your wicked thought tempts your brother to do wrong. For if he is not yet perfect, you may make him that which you have taught him. Thirdly, you fill your own mind with evil thoughts instead of good, and so you hinder your own growth and make yourself, for those who can see, an ugly and painful object instead of the beautiful and lovable one. Then, as to cruelty, there is 2 kinds: intentional and unintentional. Intentional cruelty is purposely to give pain to another living being, and that is the greatest of all sins. For example, torturing living beings, speaking ill words for another, maybe paying your house help intentionally, less, or maybe sometimes knowing ignoring someone. Sometimes a careless word does as much harm as a malicious one. So you must be on your guard against unintentional cruelty. Making fun of a friend or giving some unnecessary advice, or maybe sometimes not giving incentives also. Karma never forgets, and it takes no account of the fact that men forget. If you wish to enter the path, you must think of consequences of what you do, lest you should be guilty of thoughtless cruelty. Superstition is another mighty evil, and has caused much terrible cruelty. The man who is slave to it despises others who are wiser, tries to force them to do as he does. Think of the awful slaughter produced by the superstition that animals should be sacrificed, and by the still more cruel superstition that man needs flesh for food. There are so many superstitions and superstitious people around us. You might be one also. Don't eat bananas on Thursday. Don't wash your hair on Tuesday. Don't move scissors just like that. Stop if a cat has crossed the path before you, and so many. These 3 great crimes you must avoid, and they are fatal to all progress, because they are sin against love. But not only must you thus refrain from evil, you must be active in doing good. You must be so filled with intense desire of service that you are even on the watch to render it to all around you, not to man alone, but even to animals and plants. You must render it in small things every day, and the habit may be formed so that you may not miss the rare opportunity when the great things offer itself to be done. For if you earn to be good, the one with God, it is not for your own sake. It is that you may be a channel through which his love may flow to reach your fellow men. When we are talking about love, how can we not talk about Sindhutai Sapkal? Sindhutai Sapkal is more than just a name. The 68-year-old lady hides many stories behind her strong personality. Full of energy and passion, Sindhutai is commonly referred as mother of orphans. And as she talks about her life and her children, you can see the pain, the troubles, the miseries she has faced and overcome with her hard work during her lifetime. But for all the emotions you see on her face, an unusual sense of confidence which she has derived all over the years through her experience is something you can get inspired from. I am there for all those who have no one, she says with a lot of affection. You can see flashes of her life as she talks about her journey and how she became the mother. Being an unwanted child, she was nicknamed Chindi, which means a torn piece of cloth. Though her father supported her and was keen on educating her, she could not continue her studies after fourth grade due to family responsibilities and early marriage. She was born on 14th November 1948 at Pimpri Milga village in Wardha district of Maharashtra. She was keen on completing her education and used barhadi tree leaves to write as family could not afford a slate. Her early marriage put an end to her desire to study. I was told there are only two possessions in a woman's life. One when she gets married and the other when she dies. Imagine my state of mind when they took me in a procession to my husband's home in Navargaon forest in Vata. She says, she got married at a tender age of 10 to a 30-year-old man. Her abusive husband beat her up and threw her out of the house when she was 20 and 9 months pregnant. She gave birth to a baby girl in cow shelter outside their house the same day and even walked a few kilometers in that condition to her mother's place, who refused to give her shelter. I cut the umbilical cord with a sharp-edged stone lying nearby, she recalls. The incident deeply affected her and she thought of committing suicide, but gave up that thought and started begging at railway platforms for food to look after her daughter. As she spent more time begging, she realized that there are many orphans and children abandoned by their parents. Having faced the difficulties herself, she could feel the pain and decided to adopt them. She started begging more earnestly in order to feed the many children that she has adopted. Gradually, she decided to adopt every children who came across as an orphan, and over a period of time, she emerged as the mother of orphans. So not only we must refrain from evil, but we must be active in doing good. We must be so filled with intense desire of service that we are even ready to deserve not only humans, but animals, plants, that we will always be on a watch to grab an opportunity to serve. We will be a channel through which the love of supremacy will flow to reach out others. God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God. He who is on the path exists for not himself, but for others. He has forgotten himself in order that he may serve them. He is as a pen in the hand of God, through which his thought may flow and find for itself an expression down here, which without the pen it could not have. Yet at the same time he is also a living flame of fire, raying out upon the world the divine love which fills his heart. The wisdom which enables you to help, the will which directs the wisdom, the love which inspires the will, these are your qualification. Will, wisdom, and love are three aspects of the logos, and you who wish to enroll yourself to serve him must show forth these aspects in the world. Waiting the world of Master, watching the hidden light, listening to catch his orders in the very midst of fight, seeing his slightest signal across the head of the throne, hearing his faintest whisper above earth's loudest song. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Shruti. You have created an aura of love. It was really wonderful and very nice. I don't want to speak anything. I am enjoying it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. You all spoke well. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Okay, so...
And a special thanks to the modulator.
Thank you. So now I would like to invite all the 4 speakers to come on video. And I open the forum for discussion.
If anyone from the audience wants to add something also from their personal experience, let us hear them out. If there are questions, we'll take up.
Okay, I just have a small question to all the participants. I mean, you can just say a couple of lines if you want. How do you think this study or this presentation that you have made is going to help you in your daily life or life in general?
Any one of you can answer.
All, I mean, yeah, because your parts were different. So if all of you can want to answer.
In general, as a speaker or as an audience, what difference did it make?
I mean, do you think this, what you have studied and presented, at some point of time will help you in your life in making decisions or some things, or whatever comes to your mind?
If we talk about love in general life, I mean, in every moment, love is something which will help us in our success, in enjoying the moments. You know, what I talked about, the superstitions, the cruelty, the gossip. If we just minimize them or just avoid them, the moments which we'll enjoy in our life are just blissful. So of course these values, if we'll inculcate in our life, they will help a lot.
Okay, great.
May I speak?
Oh yes, it is to all four of you.
So as I said about desirelessness, yes, it will help definitely, because we must do every work without any desire. Just as Bhagwan Sri Krishna said in the Gita, that we should just focus on the work without having any desire for the result.
So it helps you deal with disappointments in life.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice, because just as success is there, failure is also there, but we have to learn to balance. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Shruti, and thank you, Pranshi, and Vansh. Anything you want to say?
In today's session, I speak about discrimination. Till now, I was knowing about discrimination is like in gender, religions, like that only. But I got to know about that. Only that is not the discrimination. There are many things which can, and discrimination can be good also and bad also. That I got to know, and it will be helping in my life also.
Like choosing a career, which which friends to make, from whom to avoid, and all those things, right? I mean, taking everything in account of that. Okay, I guess you meant that. So actually, discrimination, as you said, it has taken a negative sense. Therefore, these days, many people use the word discernment. So because discrimination has taken a lot of negative, but since we studied this book, so we use that word, but you rightly said discrimination as per the book, what it meant, it was good. Thank you so much. And Smriti Sagar.
Smriti Sagar.
In this good conduct, we know focused on your work, then confidence will build.
Yeah. I think you talked about control of mind, one-pointedness. So if you want to become IAS, PCS, doctor, engineer, or sports person, so all these qualities you will require one-pointedness and to do whatever, to get success of any kind, I mean, whichever direction. Control of senses, control of mind. So I think, the whole book is about daily life. So that's great that you guys presented and refreshed. Thank you.
And also, J. Krishnamurti ji writes so differently that what I personally liked the most was discrimination, because for us in our daily life, discrimination is always comparing and creating a negative sense. But then he talks that discrimination is also important.
Yes.
He just changes the perspective completely. So I think this book should be read by everyone, not only the Theosophists, but all the children out there should definitely read this book. So thank you, Brother Shikhar. And if any other person, any other brother or sister wants to add on or maybe ask any question, can do that.
We have got some new members. You can see, Kritika, some young members who, if you could figure out from the name, just check out with them, like if this book really helped them. I don't know, like there are very new members you could see, younger ones. Do you see the names?
Shrestha.
Shrestha is new, Mridula is new, and there are two new people you could see out in the.
Mridula
because
here.
I have joined
Mridula is not here.
Okay. I have joined from my mobile, no, that's why I'm not able to read out the names now.
Brother Kevin is here.
Yes, Brother
Oh,
Kevin.
he was so much interested in this book. Okay, he can also share his thoughts.
Yes, Brother Kevin.
Ashlesh.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, Ashlesh also is new.
Yes.
Yeah, Ashlesh and Shan is there. Sushan.
Yeah. Ashlesh
Right?
and Sushan also can share. Yes.
Actually, once Ashlesh was asking me, Appa, who is master? Because I had given him the book, na, the at the feet of the master,
Okay,
and
okay,
then he
at
was
the feet of the
asking who is
master.
master. So,
Okay.
so he can explain him. Yeah.
Sure. We'll discuss. Yeah.
Smita Chaudhary is not seen. Only
only audio is on, video is off.
video.
Okay, so let us hear them out. Huh?
Let video be on.
Kevin was saying something.
Yeah, exactly. Brother Kevin was saying something.
Yes, I've gone through this book once, and today's session was actually really good. It made me understand the book even more. The reason why I didn't have any I'm not asking any questions. I'm like, because I didn't know there are three books in theology. You talked about Voice of Silence and the Light of the Path. Yes, I was having some doubts, but I cannot ask them before reading the other two. Things like certain things which I felt like pride was not, points about pride was not there. And I thought will was not also included, but I forgot her name. So she was talking about will and desirelessness. So while she was talking about desirelessness, she touched up upon will also. So that helped me a lot in understanding and putting things into perspective. Still, I do have many doubts, but I cannot be asking them without reading the other books. So this was really helpful. This session was really helpful in making me understand the first book of it. So thank you all for giving me this opportunity to listen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Brother Kevin, and we'll soon try to conduct more meetings on the other books. So Sister Smita was saying something.
We were saying about two boys who joined today.
Susan.
Ashlesh and Shushan. And they had questions, but first let us hear them out. How did they like the session? And then Brother Shikhar could probably answer their queries.
Okay, so I would like to invite both of them. Brother Ashlesh, if you are here.
Hello, this is Ashlesh Mohanty. So first of all, good afternoon to all of you. It was very nice to get these presentations on different aspects of the life that we generally miss out on due to our busy schedules and every other petty goals and ambitions. So it was good to know that there are people of our own age who are little better in understanding and have a better perspective of life than us. So had lot to learn from them. and I'm really glad and thank you all of you for inviting me to this meeting. Thank you all.
Who wanted to know about the master? Was that you or Shan?
It was me actually. I read I read only the first chapter of it. It was named Discrimination. So before it, in the preface, it is written that the author says that the thoughts of this book are not my own, but of my master. So what I want to know is, master the mind itself, or the soul, or something else, or as we call him, the God, like in different religions. So who is master? What is his representation and what is his form? So that is what I had in mind.
Brother Shikhar, if you could help him out, please.
Well, it's a very simple question, but with a very detailed answer. But in very short, master in general sense, we call a person who is a master of something, like the adept, a very skilled person. Here what J. Krishnamurti is writing, the words are his master, that is his guru, that who has given him these teachings. And in theosophy, when we say masters, it is said that there is a group of evolved human beings who are managing this world. And God, actually, sometimes we name them gods or something else, but they don't call themselves God. They just called themselves our elder brothers, because if Ashlesh, you also can see in society also there are like various levels of evolution, right? One person can be very greedy, very angry. Another person can be moderately greedy, moderately angry. One more person will be there who is like very honest, truthful, and not greedy. So we can anticipate, or we can interpolate that there will be some people in this chain who will have like completely gone beyond all these things and reach to a certain stage where they are all of this, what this book teaches, completely selfless, completely following the divine plan, divine will, and working for the betterment of everyone. So those are the ones. They are not just spirits or they are real human beings in physical body who are having their existence from time to time. They leave the body, then come back again, and they guide the humanity for their evolution. And from the same group, they come at different times as Muhammad, as Jesus, as Ram, as Krishna, as Guru Nanak, as Orpheus, as Zarathustra, and all of these come from time to time to teach us different teachings. So they are being called masters, but ultimately our master is also within us. I mean, once there is a stage that they also tell us that your teacher is within you, whom you have to connect, and that is your ultimate teacher. I don't know how much clarity I brought, but in short.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sushant?
Can I answer a few on this question?
Sushant is there?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
Hi, yeah, this is my first time, so I don't have much information. Prior to it, I haven't read the book, but what I gathered from the presentation, it was thoroughly spiritual awakening for me. But I do have questions regarding how much can we inculcate the ethical values in the modern day life, where the society is gradually moving away from those values, and we don't follow our own moral compass itself. So how can we even follow the broader principles of humanity in general, like in everyday life? Like how can we bring into the practical life from a theory to practical perspective?
Okay, so both of you on the very same link you can join, and also I would keep sending you the other such forums wherein discussions are happening. the more and more you come and sit and discuss and ask questions gradually. So it is not about always reading books. It is also about interpreting them, hearing out, discussing, questioning. And in Theosophy, we do not ask people to just go and read and just keep on reading. It is about questioning. It is about contemplating also. So please join the group and keep reading, keep sharing, and keep cross-checking in your daily routine. I think, that is the beginning of the thing. Okay.
Sure.
Brother Shikhar wants to say something.
No, I think Susan just asked that how far is it practical to follow all these things in life when the world is going in different directions. So just to add what Survina ji said, that even if you look, there are people around still who give very much importance to truthfulness, honesty, and integrity. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they are materially powerful or rich or not, but they have a lot of inner strength. So it all depends on us, what direction we want to take, what discrimination we want to do, whether we want to have a lot of material wealth with our conscience corrupted, or we want to keep our conscience clear even if we have less. So what do you prioritize, or what do you discriminate? So that's a personal choice. So it is, but it is possible. It is Kali Yoga. It is difficult, but it is possible.
Not impossible.
Not impossible.
But even Brother One shared an example, and that is of these days only, like this century only. So if you want, should I share the video?
Yeah, you can share the video now.
I'll share the video, and these things are actually happening. People, wait, I'll share the video. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Kenyan runner Abel Muthai was leading the cross-country race at an event in Burlada, Navera in December 2012. He was only a few meters from the finish line but got confused with the sign and stopped, thinking he had finished the race. A Spanish runner, Ivan Fernandez, was right behind him, and realizing what was going on, he started shouting to the Kenyan to keep running. Muthai did not know Spanish and did not understand. Realizing what was going on, Fernandez pushed Muthai to the victory. A reporter asked Ivan, "Why did you do this?" Ivan replied, "My dream is that one day we can have some sort of community life where we push ourselves and help each others to win." The reporter insisted and asked again, "But you could have won." Ivan replied, "I didn't deserve to win it. I did what I had to do." He was the rightful winner. He created a gap that I could not have closed if he had not made a mistake. As soon as I saw he was stopping, I knew I was not going to pass him. And what would be the merit of this victory? And what would be the honor of this medal? And what would my mother think of it? Moral: the values are transmitted from generation to generation. What values do we teach our children, and how much do you inspire others to earn it? Most of us take advantage of people's weaknesses instead of helping to strengthen them.
So there are still people who are doing the right thing, who choose the right over the wrong. It's difficult, obviously.
Yes, Sindhu Tai is also of this era only. She recently left her body, but she is again from this yuga. The yuga is changing.
And there are so many examples. We see movies, daily there are some or the other movies coming, and those movies are on such people only. So even we can do it. We can also bring about a change.
Yes.
So, Brother Susan,
I think Brother Gautam Mohanty wanted to say something.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, actually, the same thing I was presenting to this Mahatma Gandhi Prisoners Academy about the positive changes in the prisoners that we are discussing about. I talked about the wisdom. Then, when we talk in general, it comes what Jiddu Krishnamurti says that he perceives from the masters. What I'm just adding to Sikhar Bhai's thing what he explained about. We learn, the tolerance from Jesus Christ. From Jesus Christ, if you read about his biography and his lifestyle and all, we this Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Even at the time of crucifixion, he was telling, "Oh God, they don't know what they are doing. Just forgive them." So that kind of tolerance we can learn from his life. And if we talk about the knowledge or wisdom, Lord Krishna is the very good example of explaining Bhagavad Gita, Veda, Upanishad, and all these things. It's discriminated into different religions. And he also adopted Buddhism. Lord Buddha is the symbol of humanity, the pure compassion, Karuna, Daya, Kshama, everything. No blood can be, destroyed without any war. So he has created such a humanity kind of total Buddhism is based on the compassion that you all know about it. Then the love, the bhaichara, the universal brotherhoodness we learn from the Muslim. This Muhammad also created the kind of brotherhoodness that we learn from his lifestyle also. And one thing about this Sankaracharya, the Atma Jagat Mithya, this Atma Satya Jagat Mithya. So these all things what explanation about the discrimination and maintaining the good conduct and desirelessness, and which can be only followed by the love, which we talk about others, gossips you mentioned about. Once we gossip about somebody, then we are trying to create a barrier between the love for making somebody being acquainted with the things around. All the backbiting and gossip is the biggest loophole for the love, also creating barriers for it. Then he talks about a lot of things. So these 4 qualifications he has mentioned, that this can the only approach where you can attain your mental level of wisdom or understanding your God and all these things. So this whole thing is about assessing ourselves, our human qualities within us. So he has divided into 4 qualities. All right. I think I have just seen some of the aspect of this book.
Thank you, brother.
But I like the presentations. The small children, I was thinking they're so kids, so they're big kid, so they're not small kid. So they are really done. And I really like Francis' presentation also. She has become very creative when presenting her things also, other than the content of the speech. Thank you. Good. God bless her.
Thank you, Brother Gautam. So if there is any other doubt or suggestion, you may please tell. Otherwise, we'll move forward because it's already time.
Thank you and congratulations to all the speakers, and thank you Prayas Lodge for organizing such an interesting session, and thank you Kritika for once again moderating with so much vitality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Shikhar, that you joined. Okay, so we'll proceed. Okay, Taral sir is
Thank you, Kritika. Thank you, all the speakers. You were just wonderful, and it was great to listen to you all. Even all the other participants who later on expressed their thoughts, including Shikharji. Thanks a lot. It was a wonderful afternoon. Thank you. From Day Triveni Meet.
Thank you, Taral sir. So, okay, finally we'll proceed. And so let us sit in meditation and absorb all the new things we have learned today. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashid Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Thank you so much, all the speakers, for wonderful presentation and wonderful explanation and giving us such a clarity. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining, and especially Yuna.
Yuna, thank you for joining.
Thank you, thank you.
So next,
thank you to you for presenting the lecture and giving
wow.
Thank you so much.
Wow. You are
so
the best speaker.
next week, we'll continue with the book reading. So those of you who wants to join can join on the same link, 3 p.m. Sunday. So be safe till then. Please be safe, all of you, and enjoy.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Yuna.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all of you for joining. See you all again on Sunday.
Yeah.